Welcome back, everybody. We are back today with a very, very fun cook that I hope you're going to enjoy. So special. We have to be playing exclusively Jazz for this video, all right? We need the ambiance. This is a gentleman's deck. What we have is a Mimikyu build. This was inspired by... I've seen Giratina Mimikyu around. Haven't quite given it a try. Saw someone at a tournament doing well with a Mimikyu Giratina Greninja variant. Yes, it's Greninja. Don't worry about it, bro. It's Mimikyu. Like, if you can't have fun with this, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. This deck is so much fun. So these first couple of games are based off of that list with some changes. And then me and the podcast guys, Jimbo, Sek, and Erico, we were just talking in chat about, like, what should we change about this deck to kind of make it more real. And this is what we settled on. This list right here. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video for some more elegant content. Yes, very elegant over here. This is what we're doing with the Giratina Mimikyu list. Mimikyu has the ability Disguise. The first attack is going to do no damage. Super insane, right? When you bench 2 Mimikyu, this is when I realized Mimikyu was scary. I played against this deck, not quite this variant, but a Mimikyu Giratina deck, and they bench double Mimikyu, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to attack those things 4 times to get through them and win the game. That's so much. By the way, we're playing against a Dark Tina. Kind of back in the meta, sort of. Not really, but kind of. Your opponent's gonna have to put some serious work in to get through them. He only does 70 damage. We need some way to buff that damage. Greninja, it's the guy. Like, what do you want me to do? Play red instead? Play 2 red, 2 Giovanni to get my damage up there? No, dude. And it enables us to go Cyrus, so we can use the Giratina damage, the big, 130 nuke that I have here. We were also playing, the list also played Giant Cape. I'm debating, like, whether or not it's worth it. The only place I can think it really comes up is your Giratina will survive a hit if your opponent comes up with red and attacks it first, but if that's happening, then, your Giratina is going to knock itself out with its own attack anyways. Like, the 130 and the 120 HP of Mimikyu, I don't think there's really a big buff by adding plus 20 to it. So, yeah, it just didn't want to go for it. Want to go for max consistency. Double Copycat, double Cyrus, meaning that we can actually get our Greninja set up and we can go for the Cyrus plays. Because having a 138 damage Giratina is so fantastic, right? Like, it's going to blow up pretty much anything. And if not, we can take a turn Greninja Ping and then go for that on the next turn. And getting 170 damage across 2 turns thanks to Greninja is usually enough to deal with most things that you're worried about. And you get the ample time because of Mimikyu. Like right here, Darkrai used its ability. Mimikyu took damage. Doesn't matter. Disguise is still up. Opponent just concedes in this spot. He realizes he's got nothing for it. I'm guessing just no Cyrus in hand to deal with my Giratina. We were just going to attack with Mimikyu and then go pick something off with the Giratina after that. Or wouldn't even have to, right? He puts anything into the active spot. And now here I'm debating, like, what's correct? Do I start Froakie or do I start Mimikyu? I don't have Peculiar Plaza in hand. Mimikyu has double retreat cost, which isn't great. I don't really want my Disguise to get broken early. I can kind of just attach once to the Froakie and retreat it. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to start the Froakie, bench the Mimikyu, and we are going first as well. And then you will see here, right off the top of the deck, is the Peculiar Plaza. So, got scammed. Unfortunate. What you're supposed to do in that situation, I don't know. The Sableye is here for the Oricorios. This deck has no way to beat Oricorio. If you're playing this deck to a tournament and you don't have to tell them what your energy is, you could just switch it to dual energy, run Psychic and Water, and then you're dealing with Oricorios just fine. There's no problem there. Greninja will be able to take care of it, and Giratina can get its own Psychic energy, so you're not really going to get too terribly scammed by by the dual energy thing. So, but if you're in a tournament where you have to, state your energy or you're playing ranked, I would just rather play Psychic. If Mimikyu was 1 Psychic, 1 Colorless, I think it would be a different story. We could run dual energy with it. But the fact that it's double Psychic, I mean, trying to get 2 energy back-to-back is really tough. And I just don't foresee it happening all that often. Yeah, man, this deck, also, I'm running I feel like, man, if I'm playing Greninja and it's not like the main attacker, if this is my support stage 2, I really like playing 1 Frogadier, 1 Rare Candy with double Copycat. I think it just smooths things over. It's also like 1 more playable card. So if I just have double Rare Candy stuck in my hand, like you see here before I made the change, then I can at least, like, evolve into the Frogadier before my Copycat, get a card out of my hand, and then get some better cards on the other side of it. Playing against an Umbreon Wheezing deck, which is going to be annoying for sure, because Wheezing is going to break my Disguise and put Poison on my Mimikyu, enabling the Umbreon to gust it up. My opponent already got 1 point off of the Froakie because I led him and just decided to put my energy elsewhere. My opponent is also playing Protective Poncho. I can't believe it. This guy is teched for the the Giratina Mimikyu matchup, let me tell you. So what we can do here, luckily he didn't have the Wheezing this turn. We're going to Copycat again, just hoping. Like, again, if that was a Frogadier, at least I could guarantee say that I had a Frogadier down, because look at it, now I don't even have the rare candy. I gotta wait for the rare candy. It's tough. It's tough. But we can just go Claw Slash, get a point here. And now if that Umbreon ever makes it back into the active spot, I will just have the damage thanks to the Giratina to knock it out. I'm really hoping that we can avoid a Wheezing this turn. I don't want this Mimikyu to get damaged. That would be for the best. Even if he breaks my Disguise with the Coughing, it's not a huge deal. Because, yeah, our hand is just not really set up to win us the game on this turn because our opponent's playing the Poncho. Poncho, let me talk about Poncho, right? So, I think Poncho is a fine card in only very specific decks. I don't think Poncho is an inclusion in most things. Like this Umbreon deck, I don't see the point in the Poncho because, well, maybe, I guess if you're leading off Wheezing, you really don't want the Umbreon to get knocked out and your Umbreon's going to be stuck on the bench while that's happening. We do top deck the rare candy, very good. Not necessary for this turn. I am going to Water Shuriken the Umbreon just to show him that I mean business. And we're going to knock out the Wheezing. But, like, in most decks, unless you're playing something very specifically, like I'm playing the game super slow, and I have a big retreater that I kind of leave in the active spot, the Poncho's not totally necessary. And there's not a lot of Suicune Greninja going around right now, which is probably the biggest reason to play it. There's really not a lot of bench snipe, or... we are seeing more Greninja. There's a Kangaskhan build with Greninja going around that's been popping off. Probably do a video on that later today as well. But that is, you know, that's that you might not even need because they're not like gonna set up the Greninja that quick on average. It could be nice, but yeah, Poncho is feeling more and more like a card that you just really don't need in your decks. It's not a total game changer. Some decks will benefit from it, but it's definitely not like a auto include for most decks. Because in most matchups, it ends up doing nothing. Just waiting for opponent to return. I don't know what he's doing. He's like replying to snaps or something. I don't know. This is why we put gameplay in 1.5x speed. Because of things like this, where the opponent just leaves and doesn't do anything. What I'm concerned with here is if my opponent has EV Bag. If he has EV Bag, he just wins the game. Right? He hits me for 100 with weakness and then plus 10. That'll knock out my Mimikyu. Uses Sightseer. I don't know what he's looking for. Maybe he just wants to see all the EV bags on the bottom of his deck if they're not in hand, or he's BMing. Concedes. BMing. I don't know what the point of it was, but he did it. This deck has been so much fun, man. This is this gameplay session. I think I lost one game during this session, and it was because it was when I was playing double rare candy, and the double rare candies were bottom 3 cards in the deck. Not much you can do about that when that happens. It was all I needed was a Greninja at any point in the game, and it would have given me the damage I needed to bring myself over the edge. So I'm going to bench Sableye here. I have no plans of attacking with the Sableye in this matchup. It's just to get my hand down for the Copycat. Or like a Mars red card, because if I get hit with that early on with 5 cards in hand, I'm gonna be set so far back. Now we do get the Giratina. I think that is the card we probably wanted, and we're able to play our hand down here very, very nicely. And I like the Greninja damage almost doesn't matter. I'm debating whether or not I should attach to the Greninja, but I think what I'm gonna do is just build up the Giratina on the bench, get him ready to attack, and start pinging the Ralts so I can maybe Cyrus it, or so none of this damage like really matters, because the Mew EX that my opponent's put in play, that's going to be Cyrusable with Giratina knockout for free. Don't need to build up the damage. Really, the only place it matters is the Ralts. So if he evolves into a Gardevoir, maybe I can just get the 2-shot on it, because the Gardevoir is only going to do 110. My Giratina can attack twice into it. Between Giratina and Greninja, I'll be hitting it for 300 damage between the 2 turns. So I mean, that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. We're going to drop another ping on that. Hope he just kind of abandons it, and maybe I can get a point. And again, go for that Cyrus play on the Mew. Just going to keep building up that 1 Ralt. I'm going to attach to the Greninja, and I am going to retreat into the Mimikyu because against Gardevoir, this should be 3... It's going to take my opponent 3 attacks unless he's playing a damage modifier. First attack won't go through. Second attack will leave me with 10 HP. And then third attack to finally knock me out. Mimikyu is going to give me so much time in this matchup. Even if he only gives me 2 turns. Like, that's still good enough. We're just trying to get our damage down and set up for win. Maybe just get double Cyrus in hand so I can knock out a Meloetta and a Mew. And we're going to hope for that. But my opponent attaches to the Ralts and Dianthas it, fearing me going for that line. So I'm just going to attach the Mimikyu here, and I think I'm just going to start stacking it back on the Ralts. I think it probably would have been better on the Gardevoir in this case. But again, between 2 turns, I am hitting for 300 damage. Even with a Diantha, the Gardevoir can't live back-to-back attacks. I don't think, right? Yeah, wait, with Diantha, can he do it? With Diantha, he'd have 300? It does do 3... Yeah, I do 130 plus 130 plus 20 plus 20. I do 300. I don't know why I'm having trouble with the math, but I am. My bad. He gives me the Plaza as well, so I can either just attack with Mimikyu. That's why. I'm like, I don't remember leaving this Gardevoir with like 60 or HP right here. I remember leaving it with a lot more, but it's because I'm going to attack with the Mimikyu this turn. Just because I would rather not get hit by the by a potential red on my Giratina. Because once that goes down, like, we are in sort of a weird spot. So I'm just going to play it safe, and I'm just going to ping damage onto the active and Mimikyu. Because he's already used the Diantha. So if he just doesn't have Diantha, I have game on board. So we're just going to go for that line instead. I'm not going to ping the Ralts because my opponent has so few cards left in deck that I'm expecting this right here, Rare Candy into Gardevoir. Yeah, so no reason to keep stacking damage up on him. Just go for the Gardevoir, put all the damage down I can, and this will at least let me... And there's a Copycat, so unless there's a hand disruption on the other side of this, or Lucky Ice Pops or something, we should just be fine to go Cyrus on this Mega Gardevoir and win the game afterwards. Retreats into the Mega Gardevoir. Still holding for anything? Nope. So just attacks into the Mimikyu, 110, still alive after 2 Mega Gardevoir attacks. Absolutely insane. And I'm just holding it. I'm ready. I'm ready. He's ready to get played. Look at him. Snap to that Gardevoir. Go get him, buddy. Go get him. And then we can just retreat into the Giratina and win. Oh, I'm telling you, man, the deck feels pretty good. And it feels like a lot of fun. Like a lot of fun. I'm really, really enjoying this. The nice part is, like, I think it's almost functions like a Greninja Altaria deck, but instead of using Chingling to stall, you have... Oh! Arbiter! Thank you for the subscription on YouTube! Much appreciated. Yeah, a little subscription coming through with the live gameplay. Alright, so here's a Mega Kangaskhan deck, right? This is always a bit scary. Because the guy does so much damage, and depending on how many Ilima they play, it gets very, very terrifying. Very terrifying. We have the means to 2-shot. I'm very glad I got Froakie here. This just means that I can now go Rare Candy Greninja. Not totally necessary, but it's nice that we found it. Even if it was a Frogadier, like, having the Greninja this turn doesn't really amount to anything. I'm trying to sell you guys on 1 Frogadier, 1 Rare Candy. I really like it. Sometimes you can still pop off and get it. But other times when you're not able to piece together the combo and you're using copycats, it's nice to be able to play that card out of your hand and just know, I just need Greninja. I don't need to worry about a 2-card combo on the other side of this copycat. So now it's the debate here. Should I, like, stack damage up on this Mantike? Should I do this? I decide I'm going to go for the Kangaskhan as my way to win. And I don't want my opponent to come up and red my Giratina and knock it out, or even Giovanni and make it so I knock myself out with my attack. So I'm just going to put down the Plaza now, knowing full well that, yes, it is possible my opponent is playing the basic stadium to give all of his basics more HP, and I lose the Plaza. But this feels like a very good turn to get out of the Giratina, throw up the Mimikyu, and I'm going to get a free hit off with him. And I'm pretty set up here, right? Because I'm telling my opponent, like, hey, you need to have an Ilima for this Kangaskhan next turn, or else... my Giratina will knock you out on the following turn. I'm going to put down 90 damage from Mimikyu. I'm just shy of the knockout on the Kangaskhan. Again, why I say that, you know, it didn't really matter that I had Greninja for this turn. And I have the Cyrus in hand, so I'm not going to do too much more. I'm just going to keep what I have. Feels fine to do so. And I am debating, do I just attack with the Giratina or do I just attack with the Mimikyu? Ultimately, I think it is better to... Oh, well, sorry. I'm also considering the Delcatty, right? The Delcatty, I don't know how much damage it does. I think at this point in time, it does 40 damage. I don't know. I'm trying to Google the card right now. It does 30. Okay, so it would have been fine to attack with Mimikyu, but I didn't want to give him a swing for 40 and then, like, Cyrus my Mimikyu 40, and then he's taking 2 points. But the Delcatty only does 30 for 1. I thought it did 40 for 2 with the energy assist effect. But he does have the Ilima to save it. That's fine. I'm not going to get attacked this turn by anything, it looks like. Yeah, my opponent's just going to go for Mantike. He doesn't have the Delcatty. So that's chill. And now I can just go Greninja Cyrus on the Kangaskhan and force a second Ilima, or else I'm just going to knock this thing out. Which, again, feels pretty great. We're going to attach to the Mimikyu, get him ready. The energy probably would have been better on the Giratina, just because, like, Mimikyu is one attachment away from attacking anyways. Would be nice to have the option of building up the Giratina that way. And he has the second Ilima, so... Gosh, man, these double Ilima Kangaskhan decks. Oh, my God. It's such a tricky thing to navigate, this critter. So from here, like... We really just need a Greninja attack, or sorry, a Giratina attack into a Mimikyu, or a Giratina into a Giratina, like, whatever. I don't want to waste my time putting 30, or attacking into this Mantike, because, like, my win is, the way I've played this, my win is set up on that Kangaskhan. I need 3 points off of that guy, and we should be okay. We are scared of, like, a red here, obviously, to knock out my Giratina, but I'm just going to throw the Giratina to the X spot, and see if I had put 1 energy on the Giratina, he would be able to attack this turn. So I definitely think, I don't know why I attached it to the Mimikyu instead. Should have just gone on the Giratina, where I know it just kept Mimikyu 1 attachment away. Would give me a different option for this turn. He's going to Cyrus. He's going to knock out my own Giratina, which is not great for us. Not great at all. Going to lose him. And so what I could do now, though, is... I could have just attacked with Giratina this turn. Honestly, wouldn't have been... I still think this is probably the best play, which is bench Mimikyu, pivot into Mimikyu. Now, what my opponent would have to do is, if he has Sabrina, it's going to suck. Actually, it won't suck, because I just send up the Giratina and he'll live. I'm going to attach to the Mimikyu as well, in case he has a Stadium Bump. Again, the energy just would have been better on that Giratina, 100% of the time. But this way... my opponent doesn't have a way to win this turn now, unless he's playing double Cyrus. If he's playing double Cyrus, yes, he would be able to Cyrus out my Mimikyu and win, but he plays a Copycat, and now this Kangaskhan has 140 HP on it, meaning I am just a Greninja ping away from winning the game. Now, he does this, I'm guessing he's got an Irida, but we get the Cyrus off the top because we were able to Copycat the turn before. Came down to a 50-50 there on whether or not I'd get it. Yeah, I am assuming that there was a Irida in this deck. You're playing Water Energy, probably the heal that you're going for, and we end up winning the game. Very, very scary against the double Ilima. If my opponent did not have double Ilima, that game would have been over a lot sooner. Made us fight for it. The double Ilima Kangaskhan stuff with the babies is just so terrifying. Maybe even in that matchup, I should have just said, you know what, I'm going to go through Mantike, a Skitty, and a Skitty. And then, like, that'll just be it. Right? Because if you start taking those knockouts, it gets to the point where your opponent can't be using Ilima. Because if they use Ilima to send up a baby Pokemon, you can just win if you're already at 2 points. And now this last game, we're playing against some sort of Oricorio slop. Oricorio Toxtricity. And we do have the Sableye. I top decked the Mimikyu. I'm going to play the Research because I am looking for Sableye or Froakie. I want one of the two, so I want more basics in my hand, so this Pokeball is more effective. And there we go. I get a Froakie off of it. That's fine. Still need the Sableye. I believe all that's left in deck is... I have one more Froakie, I have one more Mimikyu, and a Sableye. So, now, seeing my opponent's board state, right? This is where you can kind of switch. Is, I wanted Sableye, but I also wanted the Froakie. I wanted either or. Since my opponent has put down an Indeedee, a Zeraora, and a Toxel, I don't have to knock out this Oricorio to win me the game. I'm playing double Cyrus. There might be a time where he pivots out of the Oricorio into something else. But because I'm looking at a board where I can just win the game by going around the Oricorio, I'm going to go for that line instead. I'm going to attach one to the Mimikyu, use the Broken Space Bellow. Just depends on who I want to attack with next turn. Giratina can also kind of soak up Oricorio damage, you know, fairly fine. He can take 2 attacks before he's in danger of being knocked out. So we leave Giratina to take 50. Very, very cool. And here, I just want to use the Cyrus and then spend as much time as possible looking for the second one. I'm going to knock out the Toxel here. This way, I'm knocking out a 1-point Pokemon. I am not so worried about, what is it? About, what is the card called? Mars. I'm not worried about Mars. I think it would have been totally valid as well to knock out the Indeedee. And then just say that I'm going to wait for you to knock out one of my Pokemon. And then if I get set up with a, if I get my Sableye online, I can just knock out your Oricorio and I win the game. But again, I feel confident. Like, the guy has a giant hand. He makes it even bigger with the research. I'm holding Copycat. I feel like I'll be able to find the second Cyrus. So I would just rather make a Mars less effective for my opponent if he's going to play it. He's going to attack, break the disguise. That's fine. I still have 120 HP. Sableye. Speak of the devil. But back in the deck you go. We're looking for Cyrus. You're not part of the game plan this time, buddy. There's a Cyrus off of the Copycat. So, from here, I mean, I can't really do much besides start powering up my Gentleman. By the way, that full art Mimikyu, dude, oh my god, that is one of the, like, it might be my favorite Psychic full art I've ever seen. The color they used for the background is so beautiful. It looks like Dark Matter from Call of Duty Black Ops 3. If, for any of my unks out there who remember that, it looks like it, and it looks so good to me. I love it. Here's the Toxtricity. Speaking of beautiful cards, this Toxtricity is maybe the ugliest rainbow I've ever seen. It is so disgusting. I hate the art style they did for it. I also just don't like... Toxtricity is an ugly Pokemon already, but then this art style really showcases like how disgusting of an animal it is. If I was a farmer, this was on my farm, I would drive these things to extinction. I would hunt them for sport. I would get these. I hate these. This is a stain on humanity. This thing, a stain on the earth. I'm sorry, Toxtricity. Your VMAX form is actually, it's crazy. Toxtricity, I hate him. He looks ugly. Toxtricity VMAX is one of the coolest like Pokemon forms ever. It looks so sick. I love the Toxtricity VMAX. This guy I don't. He abandons the Oricorio. I think my opponents just realized this is lost, which it is anyways. I have the Cyrus in hand. But now I'm just able to knock out this Toxtricity with Giratina and win us the game. I never even talked about cards to consider for this deck. Dude, on it, like, I just like this build. It's straightforward. You're doing what you want to every single game. Maybe there's a better answer for Oricorio besides Sableye. I don't really think so. It attacks for 2, and you're chilling off of that. But maybe you run it without Oricorio. I don't think you can. There's too many, like, even not Magnezone Oricorio, but just Kangaskhan Oricorio. There's too much of it around. You need some way to deal with it, so you have a chance in those games. But that's going to be it. Let me know what you guys think. Yes, it's Greninja. I'm not sorry. This deck is a lot of fun. Greninja's here just to support the Mimikyu and the Giratina. You're still just playing a Mimikyu Giratina deck, and that is awesome. So, once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, like the video. I will see you on the next one.